Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation. My name is Fletcher and today we're diving into the 20 most addictive games on Xbox Game Pass that you definitely won't want to miss. You know those games that grab you and don't let go. The ones you suddenly realise you've been playing for hours without blinking. Yep, those exact games. There are tons on Xbox Game Pass that definitely go under the radar, so let's have a look and jump straight into the games. First up, if you've ever wanted to charge into a battlefield screaming at the top of your lungs with a sword in one hand and a bit of bread in the other, then Chivalry 2 is for you. This game drops you into massive 64-player battles where you can swing swords, throw axes, and even use random objects like barrels and chickens as weapons. But it's not just chaotic hack and slash, the combat is very deep and rewarding here. You can block, feint, and riposte, making duels feel tactical. There are also many different classes that offer unique strengths, from heavily armored knights to nimble archers picking off enemies from a distance. The carnage combined with that absurd humor and strategic combat makes Chivalry 2 a gripping and endlessly entertaining multiplayer experience, and a big highlight in the Xbox Game Pass library. Okay, hear me out on this next one. What if potatoes had guns? Well, that's Brotato in a nutshell. It's a fast-paced top-down arena shooter where you play as a heavily armed spud blasting away waves of bizarre enemies. This is similar to the overwhelmingly popular Vampire Survivors, and with the fast gameplay loop, it's stupidly addictive. I've actually put in 25 hours myself now, and I do still need to mop up the DLC achievements, and I honestly cannot wait to dive back into it. Each round in this game is a very short burst of action, and every wave gets even more intense. You'll constantly be switching weapons from flamethrowers, laser cannons, rocket launchers and more, searching for the perfect combo. The upgrade system is also another reason it's just so fun. You can actually tweak your Brotato stats for maximum destruction. Its simple yet charming visuals and tons of replayability makes Brotato a pure unfiltered fun game that keeps you coming back for just one more run. If you like turn-based strategy games with a roguelike twist, then For the King 2 will keep you glued to the screen for hours upon hours. This is a pretty new Game Pass edition, but easily worth diving into as it definitely went under the radar. Every world in this game is procedurally generated, meaning no two adventures are ever the same. It takes a mix of skill, patience, and luck for you to explore the kingdom of Thorul. You will be battling enemies alongside looting treasures and just ultimately trying to stay alive. The dice roll combat keeps things very unpredictable here, and the 4-player co-op mode is absolutely fantastic. You and your friends will face wild moments, like getting wiped out because someone's picked a fight with a bear way too early. The class system also lets you choose from some pretty unique heroes, adding so much depth to every single playthrough. If you love deep strategy games like myself, with a mix of tabletop mechanics and roguelike progression, then this game is just endlessly replayable. Now, looking back, do you remember when you were a kid, racing Hot Wheels cars around your house, making crazy jumps off furniture? Well, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 takes that dream and turns it up to 11. The tracks here are wild. From loop-de-loops to virtual climbs and gravity-defying stunts, there's so much racing to be done here. But it's not just about the nostalgia that it pulls at. The car customization is also fantastic, letting you tweak both the looks and performance of every single car. The multiplayer community is also pretty thriving here, with players creating some of the most creative and ridiculous tracks out there. The new additions in this game include motorcycles and ATVs for the very first time, with improved AI and smoother drifting. So whether you're playing solo, couch co-op or online, this game is pure high-speed fun, and honestly, from my own opinion, this will keep you hooked for many hours. Now, if you're looking for something a bit more chilled yet immersive, let's talk about Jusant. This game launched onto Game Pass back in 2023 and has been an underrated gem ever since its launch. Instead of battles or races, the game is about climbing and just taking in those breathtaking environments. You'll be ascending a colossal mountain, managing your stamina and technique to scale some pretty cool towering cliffs. But it's not just a climbing game though, it's actually a story-driven journey. As you go up, you'll be uncovering relics of a lost civilization, slowly piecing together its history, and wondering where all the previous inhabitants have actually gone. Physics-based climbing mechanics make every grip and jump feel realistic and rewarding. The world is also visually stunning, and the soundtrack is serene and atmospheric. If you're looking for something peaceful yet deeply engaging, Jusant is a breathtaking experience and easily a top 10 indie of mine on Xbox Game Pass. Not all FPS games are about run and gun mayhem. World War I in Sonzo is a tactical and realistic World War I shooter that actually demands your patience and precision. This is very similar to games like Insurgency Sandstorm and Hell Let Loose in terms of the realism aspect. Set in the brutal Alpine front, the game puts you in the trenches, forcing you to rely on teamwork and strategy just to survive. One well-placed shot here can actually mean the difference between your life and death. The battles here feel historically immersive, from climbing icy cliffs under enemy fire in ascent mode to navigating trenches and fortresses across authentic battlefields. The gunplay is very methodical, with bolt-action rifles and melee combat requiring skill and timing. If you want a shooter that values strategy over speed, then World War I Insonzo delivers that on all fronts. It's easily one of the best shooters out there on Xbox Game Pass, and well worth diving into just to try it out. Have you ever wanted to be a hero and a businessman? Well, Moonlighter blends roguelike dungeon crawling with shop management, creating a really unique gameplay loop that keeps you hooked. By night, you'll be diving into procedurally generated dungeons, battling different monsters, and collecting loot. But by day, you will be managing your own store, setting prices, and dealing with some pretty crazy customers. It's a mix of action and strategy, and balancing your combat abilities with smart economic decisions. You will also have to be managing your inventory, upgrading your shop, and unlocking new town features, which adds tons of depth. The evolving town and character interactions make every playthrough feel different. With its gorgeous art style, rewarding upgrades, and addictive gameplay loop, Moonlighter offers an experience as strategic as it is adventurous. With the second game coming to Game Pass very soon this year, it's well worth experiencing this hidden gem. Now, Creatures of Ava takes you into a vibrant world where you capture, train, and bond with mythical creatures. But it's not just about collecting them. Each creature has unique skills that help you solve puzzles in the world, explore different biomes, and tackle ultimate challenges. The game actually encourages non-violent interactions, focusing more on understanding creatures rather than defeating them. You will be exploring some pretty lush forests, sparkling caverns, and ancient ruins, and it is a visual treat, and you will form bonds with your companions that make every encounter feel meaningful. The creatures also evolve in this game based on how you interact with them, and their abilities can actually change the way that you traverse this entire world. Creatures of Ava really is a fresh and heartwarming take on this genre, so if you love open world discovery and creature-based adventures, then check this one out on Xbox Game Pass. Easily one of my favourite Xbox exclusives from the Xbox One generation has to be ReCore. I do actually own the collector's edition, so you have to take my opinion as a bit of a fact on this one. In this game, you play as Jewel, a scavenger on a mysterious desert planet where AI and robots have ultimately taken over. Alongside your core bot companions, you will explore a vast open world, uncover different secrets, and battle some pretty hostile machines. Each of your core bots though have unique abilities, which will help you in combat and puzzle solving, adding so much layers of strategy to the gameplay. ReCore's mix of that sort of third-person shooting, platforming, and exploration makes it such an engaging sci-fi adventure. The desolate yet beautiful world is filled with tons of hidden areas and collectibles, really rewarding you if you love to explore it. This one is such a hidden gem, and I cannot recommend it enough, but I will say you do have to stick with it as the game picks up a few more hours in. With its blend of action, robotics, and futuristic storytelling, ReCore is a must-play for fans of inventive gameplay mechanics. If you love realistic driving simulators, SnowRunner is an absolute must-play. Yes, we do have Expeditions, a Mud Runner game available on Game Pass, but compared to each other, SnowRunner still takes that crown for me. This game challenges you to conquer the toughest terrains, from deep mud to icy mountain roads using heavy-duty trucks. Every mission here demands careful planning, as realistic physics and dynamic weather make every journey unpredictable. You'll need to upgrade and customize your different vehicles to handle different obstacles, making every expedition a strategic puzzle, as you definitely don't want to run out of fuel like I did. Navigating through thick, snowy mountains, flooded roads, and rocky paths is a rewarding challenge, requiring careful throttle control and planning. With expansive open-world maps, evolving mission design, and co-op gameplay, SnowRunner delivers an immersive off-road experience that you definitely need to try. If you love chaotic, brutal FPS action with your friends, Warhammer 40k Darktide is one of the best co-op shooters on Xbox Game Pass, and it still heavily goes under the radar. Set in the Grimdark Warhammer 40k universe, you and your squad will take on the role of convicts, forced to fight against an overwhelming tide of chaos-worshipping mutants and heretics. The combat here is very visceral and weighty though, mixing melee combat with intense firefights. Whether that's swinging a chainsword into a horde of enemies or just blasting them apart with a plasma rifle, every encounter feels intense and addictive. The game also offers tons of class specializations, each with unique weapons and abilities, ensuring that every mission feels different every time you dive into it. It has tons of regular content updates, which add more missions, limited time events, and new challenges, and it still gets great content to this day. If you love games like Left 4 Dead but want it more grittier and more metal, then Darktide delivers one of the best co-op experiences on Xbox Game Pass. Sunset Overdrive is like no other open world game that I've actually played, and I cannot believe this game still goes under the radar for many out there. Developed by the makers of Spider-Man, known as Insomniac Games, it throws you into a punk rock apocalypse where a toxic energy drink has turned most of the population into mutants. The game's movement system here is all about grinding rails, bouncing off different walls, and ziplining across the city in a fast, fluid, and incredibly fun way. Combat is just as over the top as well, with ridiculous weapons ranging from explosive teddy bears to record launchers. Visually though, is an explosion of neon colours and graffiti art, making every part of Sunset City feel like just an absolutely insane playground. I still love seeing the word boom coming out of explosions, just as I come to expect with any zany comic book inspired game. Even though some of the side missions can get a little bit repetitive, Sunset Overdrive is a must play on Xbox Game Pass that I highly recommend. Rage 2 has been about for quite some time now, but it came out with some mixed reviews from both players and critics, but I do feel that it's kind of why it's a hidden gem, because personally I thought this game was pretty good and not everyone got to play it. Sure, the story did not invent the wheel by any means, but this game does know how to bring the action to you. It's actually set in a post-apocalyptic open world, but it relies heavily on fast-paced, heart-pumping combats. This game comes to us from id Software, the creators of Doom, so you know the game excels in this area and brings us some stupidly fluid gameplay. I love the game's massive variety of vehicles as well, from hovercrafts to bikes to Doom buggies, and it really makes exploration feel pretty thrilling and fun. Speaking of exploration though, the game also features a variety of different and unique biomes that are really detailed. Though that's not all, Rage 2 also comes packed with tons of customization options, which allows you to customize your vehicles and weapons in any way that you want. With the right upgrades, you can make your weapons beefier and even more deadly. It's a fun game and one that certainly makes the hidden gem mark for me in this video. As gamers, we love these unique indie experiences that drop us into some pretty innovative worlds. Lost in Random is an atmospheric adventure blending dark fairytale aesthetics with an innovative dice-based combat system, and it's the definition of a hidden gem. In this game, you will play as Even, a young girl navigating a kingdom where everyone's fate is decided by a roll of the dice. Accompanied by Dicey, which is a living die, you will explore 6 distinct realms, each ruled by its own twisted logic and bizarre characters. The combat here actually mixes real-time action with strategy, as Dicey's rolls summon random powers that can influence the battlefield. The game's stop-motion inspired visuals and gothic aesthetic create an eerie yet enchanting world that really does feel something out of a Tim Burton movie, and that's why it stands out from the crowd. If you love story-rich adventures with a unique combat system, Lost in Random is a must-play. If you are a Soulslike fan but want something fresh, then Ashen is a must-play on Game Pass. This open-world action RPG takes everything we love about Dark Souls, from tight combat, stamina-based fights, and deep lore, but adds a unique cooperative twist. Instead of traditional multiplayer systems, the game seamlessly introduces real players into your world and are known as Nameless Warriors. They can offer you aid in battles or exploration without voice chat or direct interaction. Of course, exploration with this is a huge part of the overall experience, with mystical ruins, eerie landscapes, and lore-rich dungeons just waiting to be discovered. Every encounter is very tense and rewarding, as the game's art direction creates a world that feels bleak yet breathtaking. I personally love the mystery and immersion of Ashen. The feeling of isolation mixed with that occasional help from a silent ally makes every journey unforgettable. If you enjoy challenging yet fair combat, expansive exploration, and a beautifully crafted world, then Ashen will keep you hooked. Take the chaotic action of Metal Slug and infuse it with tactical RPG elements, and you get Metal Slug Tactics, a perfect blend of nostalgia and strategy. This game takes the classic pixel-perfect Metal Slug aesthetic and transformed it into a turn-based battlefield where every move counts. Fans of games like XCOM and Fire Emblem will feel right at home here, as positioning, cover mechanics, and team synergy are key to victory. Each iconic Metal Slug character comes with unique abilities, letting you create a squad that suits your own playstyle. And while the combat may be a bit slower paced, the explosive battles, oversized bosses, and signature humor still capture that Metal Slug spirit. What I really love most about this game though is just how it reimagines a classic while keeping its identity intact. So if you're into strategy games, retro shooters, or just want something fresh and challenging, Metal Slug Tactics is a no-brainer. Gunslingers and bloodthirsty vampires? Well, count me in. Evil West is a high-octane action game that combines Wild West aesthetics with supernatural horror. You will step into the boots of a badass vampire hunter, armed with a mix of brutal melee attacks, powerful firearms, and an electrified gauntlet that lets you obliterate enemies in spectacular fashion. The game is just such a non-stop adrenaline rush, with fast-paced intense combat that really does keep you on your toes. Enemy variety here is also pretty fantastic, forcing you to switch up tactics constantly, whether you're taking on swarms of ghouls or battling a towering vampire. The story is pulpy and fun, feeling like a mix of classic westerns and over-the-top movies, and it feels like a great 360 era experience. If you're a fan of games like Doom, God of War, or even Devil May Cry, you need to give Evil West a shot. If you're looking for something completely different, then Humanity is one of the most visually striking and thought-provoking puzzle games that I've played in years. Created by the developers of Tetris Effect and Res Infinite, two awesome games by the way, this game puts you in control of a glowing Shiba Inu dog, tasked with guiding massive crowds of people through some pretty surreal environments. The game starts off pretty simple, but quickly becomes incredibly complex, requiring you to build different paths, avoid hazards, and even lead your followers into large-scale battles. It's a game that really does blend logic and creativity, all wrapped up in a great package of hypnotic visuals and an incredible soundtrack. What I love personally is just how it challenges your brain while remaining deeply relaxing. It also has a built-in level editor and community-generated content, which is absolutely awesome, so that game really does offer some endless replayability for you. If you enjoy games that make you think while also being a work of art, Humanity is a must-play. If you love Lonely Mountains Downhill, get ready for an even bigger, better challenge. Lonely Mountain Snowriders takes everything great about the first game, with its open-ended paths and rewarding exploration, and throws it into snow-covered landscapes, icy hazards, and an advanced trick system. The minimalist, low-poly visuals create an incredibly immersive world, where the crunch of snow and howling wind make every race feel real. The game is all about that freedom though. You can stick to the designated trails, or risk carving out your own path through some hidden shortcuts. The biggest addition this time around though was the online multiplayer aspect, which transformed what was once a solitary journey into some pretty cool competitive mayhem. I've actually been obsessed with this game since its launch, even managing to grab the full 1000 gamer score, and trust me, it's worth every second of your time. RoboQuest is one of the best kept secrets on Xbox Game Pass, a roguelike FPS that combines Doom-like speed with Borderlands-style visuals, and this game is an absolute blast. You play as a Guardian combat robot, fighting through procedurally generated levels packed with robotic enemies, environmental hazards, and tons of upgradable weapons. Every run here feels fresh and unpredictable, thanks to its deep customization and core play. The tight gunplay, slick movement, and satisfying progression make it so insanely addictive. This is a game that more people need to try, because it's one of the most polished and fun shooters available on Xbox Game Pass. If you love fast-paced FPS games with endless replayability, RoboQuest is a high recommendation from me here at Xbox Nation. What is your favourite hidden gem on Xbox Game Pass, and is there any that I've missed? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Xbox content like this every single day. A big shout out to our channel members for your continued support, and if you would like to support me and the channel, then click that join button down below for early access to videos, exclusive emotes, shout outs, and more. Whilst here, why don't you check out my most recent video covering the 15 incredible new FPS games coming to Xbox and Game Pass this 2025.